Hey everybody, it's Greg Burns, your Ghent town historian. Today's trip into Ghent history, we're taking an actual trip. We're going to take a bicycle ride around Ghent in search of the 10 one-room schoolhouses that were in Ghent in 1873. Some, I know what we're going to find. Others, I'm not even sure. That's why we ride around looking for old stuff, right? We're going to head out just north to see if the school that was on Arnold's Mills Road is still there. And while I'm pedaling up there, I'm going to leave a map here for you to look at. And you'll see light blue dots. That's our destinations. We're gonna go counterclockwise. So thanks for coming along, and hey, it's time for school. Okay, it was a pretty short ride there, and here we are along Arnold's Mills Road across from the Big Bow in the Kleinkill River. It's on the other side of the trees there. And we've got nothing here that really resembles a schoolhouse. Well, that's kind of sad, but not surprising, since this school stopped being a school in 1878 when the Ghent school opened. So it's 0 for 1 so far. But we can see how the woods have reclaimed the land that was once cleared, and how every day we go by places that are no longer, places where kids learned and teachers taught. Now there is, I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, there is kind of an interesting sort of flat area up there with far fewer and younger looking trees. So maybe that's where the school was, who knows, but there's nothing here now that looks like a school. And I try not to walk on people's properties without asking them, and I usually don't. So we're not going to go up there, but maybe I will someday. But so far, 0 for 1. The school up here in Arnold's Mills is sadly no longer. So our next stop is going to be over in heading towards West Ghent, District 3. And that is located near the intersection of Omai Road, County 22, and 9 Mile Run, County 21. Maybe we'll have better luck there. I'm going to drop a picture in here for you to look at while I pedal over there. I think it's the schoolhouse we're looking for next, but it might be the schoolhouse that was here. You can see in the caption of the postcard it says Schoolhouse near Ghent. And both of those schools would qualify as being near the hamlet of Ghent. So I'll let you look at it, and we'll head over to the next site. And again, the picture you're going to look at may have been the schoolhouse here. Very well, it's kind of a slope, but over where we're headed, it's a slope also. So I'll see you in a minute. So we've pedaled west, and just down here is the intersection of Omai Road and 9 Mile Run, and I'm not seeing anything over here that looks like an old school, but you can see it's very banked over here, so maybe that picture was over here, maybe it was at our last stop, not really sure. The school that was here would have serviced the Snyder Road, Haybeck Road area, and also where the Kleinkill Airport is. Now think about that for a second. Imagine explaining to the kids here that someday a field they looked out on during their lessons would become an airport and flight and all of that. Anyway, times have changed a lot in the last 150 years or so. A lot of these schools were at intersections, which are kind of not intersections anymore. This is an intersection of 3 roads, 2 I just mentioned, but also up here, I think it's called Berry Lane now. It's a private road that went straight over to, well, George Snyder's house, the Snyder house, which has been the Snyder house for a couple hundred years. So this would have been a pretty good spot for kids to walk in from on 3 different roads and learn their lessons. So we're going to keep heading west, and we're going to go in search of District 4, the school in Omai. I am going to drop a picture in here of kids and their teacher and their names standing in the doorway of the school that we're looking for. So right now we're 0 for 2, but hopefully our averages improve as the day goes along. So enjoy this picture, and I'll see you in Omai. And here it is. We finally found one. Like many of the schools, this one has been made into a home, and it should be around for hopefully a very long time, put to good use. Just to let you know where we are in downtown Omai. We're at the intersection of Leggett Road and County 22, what I call Omai Road. And of course, many Leggets and Kittles studied here in this school over the years. The original school was across the road, closer to Link, but sometime between 1873 and 1888, they either built a new one here, or they got some horses and oxen and dragged the other one over here. As far as I know, none of these schools had basements at the time. So our average is improving. We're 1 for 3. Let's keep heading west to West Ghent and see if we can find school district number 5, also known as the Post Road or Old Post Road School. Don't have a picture to drop in here, so you know what? I'm going to put the map in again just to remind you of where we're headed. And here it is. We found it. The Old Post Road School. Or District 5 school in 1873. Now, I did find an interesting article from World War I era from 1918 about one of the activities here at the school, and I'll try to read it quickly for you. And listen to some of the names of the kids from 1918. Those names still inhabit these parts. A pleasing program was very appropriately carried out by the pupils of District Number 5 School in West Ghent. Friday afternoon, in joint celebration of the 4th Liberty Loan and Columbus Day, the program Star Spangled Banner, sung by school. Flag salute, school. Original composition, The Story of Columbus, Kenneth Coon. The American's Creed, William Clow. A duet, Keep the Home Fires Burning, Gladys Felple and Florence Isbester. Recitation, Thrift Stamps by Lyle Kuhn. See McAdoo's Address, Royce Kuhn. 4-minute Liberty Loan speech, Florence Isbester. Of course, Liberty Loans, right? The government was raising money to send the troops, support the troops in the war efforts in Europe. Duet, There's a Long, Long Trail, Florence Isbester and Gladys Felple. And another recitation, Columbus by Gladys Felple and America, sung by the whole school. So imagine the kids in this school singing that. The Reverend Demeester gave a very interesting talk to the children on the war and the great necessity of everyone doing his bit in helping his country. The honor students for the month of September were Gladys Felple, average of 91, and Florence Isbester, average of 90. Those attaining an average above 80 were Kenneth Isbester, Lyle Kuhn, Royce Kuhn, Lillian Clow, Arthur Flouten, Marion Finger, and Sarah Thompson. So, good work, kids. And I have the camera up on a mailbox here, so I think I better move it because the mail person is actually coming right at this point. We do know that temperance meetings were held here in the early 1800s, mid 1800s, which is interesting because a tavern was just down the road. So we're going to keep pedaling south and see if we find the other school in West Ghent. Okay. All right, either this mailbox isn't being used anymore, or there's no mail today, or I just screwed up the postal system in West Ghent. So we've headed south to the other school here in West Ghent, and we are across the road from the world famous Kozel's restaurant. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a picture in here of the school that was here in the late 19th century. I don't think that's the building that was here, and Kozel's wasn't here, even though those kids and teacher look like they're yearning for a nice English cut prime rib. At any rate, this building, maybe not that exact building, was a school until it became the first West Ghent Firehouse. And my early memory of coming here was once a year my parents were voting, and this is where I learned a little bit about the election process. And I have the distinct memory of the smell of clam chowder in the air. And either the fire department or the church, someone was always selling clam chowder to make a little money and provide a little social atmosphere while people lined up to vote. So this schoolhouse still here, still looking good. Our next stop is going to be the Walter Myers School, also District 7, over on Route 66. And I'm going to drop a picture of that school in right here, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we found another, the Walter Myers School, or District 7. This school is actually very near and dear to my heart. It's likely the Walter Myers donated the land for it. That's usually how these schools came about. A farm family would donate a little plot of land, and then the school board would build a schoolhouse on it. And we actually have all of the minutes from the school board meetings from 1828 to 1946 for this school. It's only one book because they only met about once a year, but they're very interesting to read. At one point they had to decide whether they were going to get a teacher who was they were going to pay a little more, and that person was going to have to rent a place, or if the teacher would continue to board round. That's right, teachers would spend a couple weeks with each family, and that was kind of the part of the family school tax, was to feed and house the teacher. Very interesting dynamics there. It's also one of my favorite schoolhouses because my father, John Berninger, went to school here up to 8th grade before going to Hudson High School from the old Berninger house just down the hill here. By the way, we're very close to where Solar Heights comes out on Route 66, in case you're trying to follow the locations here. And my father told a lot of great stories about going to school here. He remembers when they had to go back into the fields the day that the state came through to blast the rock shelf over there, when Route 66 became what we really know as Route 66. Of course, it was Union Turnpike, and some old historians like me still call it that. But one of my father's favorite stories here, his father, my father's father, my grandfather just down the road, he was the treasurer for the school board. So once a week the school teacher would go down the hill and get her pay from my grandfather. And my father said that he figured he should always behave because the teacher was going to his house once a year. And that, you know, discipline was a lot easier for teachers, I think, when she knew all the parents, or he knew all the parents in the district, and when they were going to the house to get their paycheck. So the District 7 school here, right on Route 66, also called the Walter Myers School. One of my favorites. There's a long section about it in my little Ghent history book, which you're more than welcome to pick up and read again. So we're going to get away from the traffic here. Going to roll down Solar Heights Road to the Pulver Station Schoolhouse. And I'm going to drop a couple pictures in here of Pulver Station and a nice news article with kids and the names of the kids. And the news article is wrong. It is not near Valatia. It's over in the Squampamog near Pulver Station. It's not near Valatia. So enjoy those pictures, and I'll see you in just a little bit. And here it is. We found another. For those of you keeping score at home, we are now 5 for 7 with 3 sites to go. So we're going to be batting at least 500 in our search today for the one-room schoolhouses of Ghent, 1873. So this was the Pulver Station School. And as a point of reference, Archbridge Road hits County 9, also known as Ghent-Melonville Road, right down there. And of course, on Archbridge Road was, you guessed it, Pulver Station. A small train station and a hay press, and that would have been a pretty important part of life down here. And it was also a post office, briefly. So it's nice that we've got this schoolhouse here, and I really like those pictures that I just showed you. This house too is in good shape. I've talked to the gentleman who lives here, very nice man, and he did a fair amount of work shoring it up. He has told me that it has no basement like most of these, I think all of them, when they were built. But he's got it squared away and looking good. And I really like this spot. Maybe someday it'd be a good place for the town historian to live. Who knows? So Pulver Station School, looking good. Now we're going to roll, ready for the climbing. We're going to roll up Archbridge Road, and we're going to go in search of District 2. And I'm going to drop in a fantastic picture right here of the District 2 school. And if you look closely in this picture, you can see in the doorway a board that has grammar instruction on it. It warms my heart to see such a thing. So I'll see you in a little bit at the other end of Archbridge Road up on Harlemville Road. Well, we made it, and there it is. And I'm pretty sure that photograph that you just looked at, this is about the angle somewhere from in here around this area that it was taken. And a lot of you probably recognize this house. I believe 2 generations of Gardinas lived here. Clearly they did a lot of work on it over the years. And I've been told that the bell is still inside the house, so that's pretty cool. The house did recently sell for about $460,000. There's another thing. Imagine telling that to the teacher and the kids who were here in the 19th century, that someday this would sell for almost $500,000. Fascinating. So this is really a terrific spot up here. Maybe another good spot for the town historian to move someday. Very peaceful here. We are at the corner of Gardena Lane and the Harlemville Road. So we're up in the hills of eastern Ghent. And this too would have been at a little bit of an intersection. The road that is a dead end out here now actually went down right to Arch Bridge. So there was a way for kids much more easily to get up here than I did today from that area. And then of course from points east-west. And maybe a little bit in the other direction as well. So our next stop, I really don't know what we're going to find at our next stop. It's Angel Hill Road, and it is part of a joint school district that Ghent had with Austerlitz. So we'll see what's there. So we made it over here to the Ghent section of Angel Hill Road, and really gave a good look over on the north side of it for anything that looks like the schoolhouse that's on the map, and it's in fact no sign of it. So we're holding tough at 6 out of 9 today so far. Got one more spot to look at. And as I said earlier, this was a joint school district. So I believe in 1873 there were actually 14 school districts in Ghent, but some of the schoolhouses were in the neighboring town that the kids shared with their neighbors. So we got one more spot to check out down in Squampamok, and we'll see what's there. So we've made it to our last spot, District 8, here next to the Ghent Union Cemetery, across County 9 from the Ghent Union Cemetery. And we got nothing. There is a little house here, and it sort of maybe looks like a schoolhouse, but it's not. It is not, sadly. But whether the buildings are still here or not, we really enjoyed our 28-mile bike ride today. Some of you could have pedaled a little harder. Whether the schoolhouses are still here or not matters a lot less than the lessons that the country school teachers taught there, and that the students learned, and that they passed on to their children, and passed on to people like me, and maybe people like you. So many thanks to the kids who learned and the teachers who taught for the 100+ years that the one-room schoolhouses served the town of Ghent. I enjoyed the workout. I enjoyed having you along with me today, and we will see you around town.